I was shooting the 1377 the other day, and I noticed what appears to be a significant drop in power for some unknown reason. Now this one, we've still got the stock valve in it. If I'm not mistaken, and I'll know when I get into it if it is in fact the valve may have had a seal gone bad, something along that line. I really don't know. I know a lot of people out there have a lot of questions about the 1377. They've got one. They want to do some mods. They've got a steel breech they want to put on it. There's a breech screw in the middle and a screw in the back that holds this on. It's basically the same thing, except that your barrel's going to go into the breech. I'm too lazy to get up and show you one, but if you have something similar to this and you want to put a longer barrel on it, I'm gonna take it. I'm probably gonna put that shorter barrel back on this, simply because in the pneumatic pump, it does make a difference, but not enough to justify leaving it on there. It gets more. If you're gonna pay $50 for a barrel, put it on something that's gonna give you more foot-pounds of energy, or make it more exciting to shoot stuff with. What I'm gonna do, I'll kind of go through it with you real quick, because I am gonna pause it. Otherwise, this will be a day-long video. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is, now on this configuration, on this plastic barrel, that transfer port comes out right in the middle here, and it goes through this plastic, up through it into the bottom of the barrel. The barrel cannot slide out like it does on the Dianas, because it doesn't have screws holding it down from the top, and it doesn't have a, well, it does have a well, no, it don't. This barrel does not have a little rubber seal in it, because the bolt is sealed on this. It goes into the breech, and that's your seal. But the first thing you got to do on this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out the, I'm going to take out the tiny breech screw, the rear sight screw, and make sure that it's not, okay, it's discharged, everything's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and open that a little bit, and I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna pause you, and I'll be right back and show you what I'm doing. Okay, what I've done is I've taken off the barrel. First, we took off the breech screw, then the rear sight screw. There's a rear sight and the screw. There's the breech screw. If you don't have one of these little dealers here, they come in Harbor Freight in a little package, and it's got all the different little sizes. I'm not going to take the time to see what size it is. It's real small, and I'm not seeing, it's kind of dark in here anyway. I'm not seeing real good. But anyway, there's the scope mounts that fit onto the barrel. The barrel is over there, and what we're left with is something that looks like that. You want to be careful if you have a little seal down in there, and I don't know if you can see that or not. There is one. It's black, it's round, and it covers the exit port on the valve. Next thing I'm going to do is when you see me again, I'm going to have taken this pivot pin. There's 2 screws. I've got a stainless pivot pin in there that I ordered, and I'm going to pull this barrel band off, and then this part of the pump assembly is gonna just slide out from there, and then I'm gonna remove the. Well, I'll tell you when I get there. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You want to be careful about these little pins right here on the hammer. You want to just, well, okay, that one's in. Sometimes those, unless I'm messed up on a different model, but sometimes those come out. You just, anything that can fall out, you don't want it falling out. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this little seal out right there and lay it right there, because those have a way of disappearing. And I do have backup screws, backup sights, backup, you name it, washers, seals. You can never have too much stuff. But anyway, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to pause you again, and when you come back, I'm going to have the tube assembly off of the stock. The least amount of fun you'll ever have working on a Crosman 1377 is the little detente spring and ball that keeps the safety in right there. There is a little slot right there that this little tiny spring goes in, and that little tiny ball goes under it. That's the little switch that you feel when you operate the safety. As it is right now, it just goes back and forth. There's nothing holding it, and so there's the stock. Another thing I want to mention is on the I have a stainless steel pump pivot pin, and on the where's it at? Forgot what I was doing. Okay, on the inside of the okay, it'd be this piece here. I want to be sure and show you this because it's pretty important. It takes out the slop when you're pumping it. That handle has a tendency to go side to side. If you take these little bitty washers, and I have washers, screws, keep all this little stuff like that, you put one of those on either side of that before you put the pin through, and it's going to take up that slack. You pretty much have to take it apart like this to be able to do it, but when you're putting it back together, you put one of those little, I'm not sure of the size of those. I'm just not, the little pin of the pump handle fell out. That's what I've been looking for. But anyway, now that I've got the, I'm going to show you what I had in there for a spring hammer. I took a piece of the little collar, the little tightening collar of a Dremel set, and that's the plug that I put in the Crosman 1377 to make the spring. Instead of stretching it, I did it like that, and that way, when the hammer goes forward, here's the back of that. It gives you about roughly a 1/4 inch extra push when it's going in against the hammer. That's a hammer right there. It'll come back. Once that pin comes out, the hammer will slide out. I'm not going to bother with that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh yeah, I think I might see why it had a reduction in power. There's a lot of something down in there, crap, garbage. On these 1377s and 1322s, there's a little dention, okay, where this is the port where it comes out to the transfer port, and that's where your little breech screw holds it in, and that's your cocking on your hammer there. But on the back, it's got these little stops, and that keeps your along with the screw that holds your front trigger guard on, that keeps your valve from blowing out the back into your face, pushing that, because that'll break, and that hammer, and you're under 800-900 pounds of pressure. I've seen people shot in the face with that rig right there, and takes half your face off. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pause this, and I'm gonna pop that valve out, and I'll be right back. And then we're gonna take a look inside of it and see if maybe the buildup that I could see that's evident in there has anything to do with the loss of power. I'm gonna take the valve apart, inspect it, and clean it. I don't know if I'm gonna modify it any. I'm just been pretty happy with it stock, and I've got another stock when I don't have another power valve, or I'd go ahead and throw it in there and we'd see how that changes it. But right now I'm going to pause you again, and I'm going to pull that valve out, and then we'll take a look at it. It's handy to have one of these dowel rods. I've got different sizes of them. What you're going to do is I went ahead and pulled the little pin off the hammer through the slot, back the hammer out, and then all I had to do is slide this dowel in there and just gently push the valve up. Okay, it's once it gets up to there, you want to be real careful. I've done this before. Not that way. Okay, I'm gonna pause it for a second because this is a critical area. You've got your seal right here, and what you want to do is slightly open that, and I'm going to try it with a screwdriver. You're going to be out of frame here for just a second. Sometimes that's, it almost went. Sometimes that's about the only way you can get them out. Everything's wanting to be difficult. A lot of times you tear these seals up. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of buildup. Where's my flashlight? There's a lot of buildup on there. I'm going to pause you for a second and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to show you this here. I got the seal past the outer end of the tube, and what I did was I stuck the stick in there, the dowel. Now you're going to have to depress that on the valve there, that little on the end, and then you're just going to do that, and it's going to come right out. Drop your dowel rod. There's your empty pump tube, and looking at it, it's pretty dirty in there. I'm looking at this valve, and there's a big long scratch across it. The end is it's real dirty. I don't see any nicks in the rubber seal. Okay, we're gonna pause it again for a second, and I'll be right back. I'm seeing some things on here that I'm gonna have to check out, but in the meantime, what I've done is I've dug out the other 1377/1322 valve. I can't remember when I took it out. It seems to be working pretty good shape. So this is I'm I'm going to pause it for a second though. I'm still going to take this apart and examine it, and I'll be right back. I didn't see anything wrong with this one. I took it apart and I went ahead and I compressed the inner spring a little bit to make it a little bit easier to push it open when the hammer strikes it. Anyway, I'm going to pause you again. I want to clean that tube out real quick, and we'll be right back, and we'll put this thing back together. And we'll take it up to the point where I'm going to put a barrel on it, because I'm going to have to find my other barrel. I don't know if I'm going to take out one off the pistol yet and put back on here. I don't feel like taking it apart tonight. I think I have another 13 7.7 barrel in there, possibly, and if so, I'll use it. I'll be right back. You get you some of that ballast all right there. I use toilet paper. I wad it up. I shove it in there about that far, and then I take that dowel rod and shove it right on out. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what we got out of it. Okay, so we got the tube ready here. Buddy, turn that off. We got the tube ready. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this back together. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that barrel back on it for the time being, just simply because I want to kind of compare it to how it was before. Okay, on this pump tube, there's your end. That's where your pivot pin goes through. You're gonna go back on the same way you came off. I'll put a little bit of silicone oil on this seal right there. Putting it back in the tube. It's gonna protect your seal going sliding all the way down the tube. And I'm also going to put just a drop right in this hole right here. Actually, I'm going to do a dot there. Boop. Boop. Right there. Okay. There's the valve. The rest of that I'm going to need just like that. And what I should have done first and foremost before I did that was make sure that I'm lining up you always forget something and you end up having to pull it back apart or do something like that. Okay, this is your screw hole for the for the trigger guard, the front trigger screw, and that's going to hold this. There's your porthole, and screw for that is right there. So when this gets in there, it's going to be sitting approximately in that configuration right there. So you want to start your valve in. If you do this right, it'll go right in most of the time, and you don't have to finagle it around once you get it down in there. Don't use anything metal to do that with. You don't want to mess the end of that up, because then you're up a river or a creek, someplace you don't want to be. And then just take your little poker. That's what I use. I get that hole lined up there the way that is, and then you want to flip it over though and look at your transfer port, because if that hole isn't lined up, you're not going to get your full power. And so what I'm doing is moving and looking. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, and this is the one you worry about first, because you're going to put it back on the base there. And so first thing, you want to check your hammer over. I already did. It looks like it's okay. It doesn't have any burrs or anything on it that's going to cause you some agony down the road. Top side up, transfer port.